SuperFlyRyno.
You damn right. What up, game players? It's your boy SuperFlyRyno, and I'm back again to hit you with another scoop of what's going on in this age of gaming. So, Mortal Kombat just recently had a new movie that released in theaters and on HBO Max, and me being a huge fan of the franchise, would love to share my thoughts and opinions with you all. So let me start off by saying, growing up in my younger teenage years, Mortal Kombat was my go-to arcade machine. The first time I laid eyes on Mortal Kombat, I actually thought to myself it was just going to be a Street Fighter ripoff. But then when I actually played it, I was shocked by the awesome lifelike graphics and the obscenely amounts of blood that would come from just nailing your opponent with an uppercut. Then came the real game changer, fatalities. Now, for a 13-year-old kid growing up in the 90s, being able to completely destroy my opponent with a finishing move at the end of a match was a sweet cherry to an already cool game. Now, Mortal Kombat didn't have the depth of, say, Street Fighter 2, being that in Mortal Kombat, all the characters have the same standard moves and they're all done with the same input. But what they did allow is someone could choose a character and be able to jump in without a giant learning curve. MK became a huge phenomenon in pop culture, so big in fact that in 1995 it got its first cinematic release with the self-titled Mortal Kombat movie. Excuse me. This movie was successful following the storyline set up by its arcade lineage and was fun to watch. The biggest disappointment about this movie was that because of its PG-13 rating, it didn't have the blood and gore that Mortal Kombat was known for. Now, just a few years later, in 1997, a sequel was made, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Destroy all expectations. And that's a fact. This movie was also rated PG-13, so it as well lacked the gore, and to be honest, this movie sucked. The story was bad, the acting was atrocious, and don't get me wrong, I don't expect Oscar-winning performances from Mortal Kombat movies, but yeesh. The only thing was how many different MK characters this movie had. But I don't care how many characters you throw into a dumpster fire, at the end of the day, it's still a dumpster fire. I might go as far as saying that it might be the top 3 all-time worst video game to movie transitions ever. In other words, only watch it if you're in dire need to see how the story continues from the first movie, or you're really in the mood to lose a few brain cells. So where does this new movie fit in? Well, it really doesn't fit in. I'm not sure how familiar you are as a viewer with the comic books, but in comic books, there are many alternate universes and timelines that follow the same familiar characters but with different backstories, and they take place on different worlds. This is where Mortal Kombat takes place. It still revolves around the premise of a tournament that must be won so Outworld can invade and take over the Earth realm. Outworld must win 10 tournaments in a row so the Elder Gods will allow invasion of Earth realm. This year is the 10th tournament, and Outworld has already won the last 9. Now enter a new character the movie revolves around, and his name is Cole. Cole is a family man that has a wife and daughter, and from what we can tell, makes money by cage fighting. Eventually, he runs into Jax, and during this discussion, shows off his really sick birthmark in the form of the MK Dragon. Later on, you find out that it's not a birthmark at all, but in fact, it means you were chosen to participate in Mortal Kombat. Every combatant bears the mark, and there are 2 ways to receive it. Either it comes to you naturally and you get it, or you get it by taking the life of someone that already has it. So that's the movie plot all wrapped up in one tight bundle. So how is it? Well, it is complete fan service. With this movie finally getting the R rating that it deserves, it is a gore-filled smorgasbord. It has great choreographed fight scenes and fatalities. Yes, actual fatalities that fans will recognize when playing the game. Now, even though the premise of the story is the same as far as Outworld wanting to invade Earthrealm, the way things happen are completely new and fresh. It's that alternative reality I was talking about earlier. You have characters working together that would not normally ever have happened. amongst a variety of other things that go on that I don't want to spoil for anyone. One of the things I loved was how the movie explains why the MK combatants have special powers. If you ever wondered why Liu Kang can shoot a fireball, well, now there's an explanation for it. Also, what were the negatives? And were there any negatives? So, the only negative I can really think of would be the lack of Johnny Cage. Johnny is a Mortal Kombat staple character. In fact, Mortal Kombat was actually made to star Jean-Claude Van Damme as the main character, and when that fell through, well, then came Johnny Cage, a representation of him. Sorta. Now, I'm 100% positive he will be in future movies if a sequel gets greenlighted, which after watching it and talking to a few friends, about all the great fan service, I think it will be popular enough to warrant a sequel. The other gripe that I can see is people having is how much that is strayed from the arcade game character storylines. This doesn't bother me as I enjoyed the fresh take, but if you're an MK purist, then you may find quite a bit of things that will be bothersome. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I would say that it's on par with the original movie as far as entertainment goes, and if you're a fan, or if you're just looking for a bloody good time, then check it out. As long as you don't take it too serious. I mean, it's a Mortal Kombat movie. Then I think you'll enjoy it too. I give it an oh yeah recommendation. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you could remember to hit that like button, and if you like gaming content, then hit the subscribe button. And as always, remember, play on, players.